Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and happy Killdozer Day. Anyway, we're not actually talking about the legend of Killdozer. Instead, what we're doing is talking about the governor's races because I haven't really done much of that at all. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to add tilt to this. I'm sorry I'm back to 270 to win. I'm having issues with the software I had been using, which was, I think it's like yet another political map simulator or something like that. I'm having some issues. I think it's client side, but I've been discussing it with some other people who frequently use the site, and it may actually be server side. So, don't know. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and start off with the states that I'm currently rating as safe Republican. Idaho, Wyoming, we'll talk about South Dakota, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, and Vermont, assuming Phil Scott runs again, and Massachusetts, assuming Charlie Baker runs again. Sorry if I'm sniffing a little bit. I'm doing what I can to clear up my allergies, but there's only so much you can do when you have pollen counts like crazy. There's only so much I can do, right? And before we get any further into this, a like, a comment, and subscription is greatly appreciated, and I thank each and every one of you for doing so in the past. And likes and comments, of course, help the algorithm not hate me. And let's see if we can reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Heck, we could reach 900 subscribers within a month or two, given recent trends. I would like to see that. Is 900 possible by, say, Independence Day? Maybe. I think so. Let's shoot for it. Why not? So, moving on to states I'm rating as safe Democratic. Hawaii, we'll talk about California. Oregon, we could reasonably talk about it, but I'm going to leave it as blue. Illinois, we'll talk about New York, New Jersey. And remember, this is based off of my confidence in the race. Virginia, and that's really it, if we're honest. We'll talk about Maryland as well. Moving on to likely Republican states. Well, I'm putting South Carolina in that category. I'm putting Texas in that category. Alaska in that category because the top 4 primary really could affect things. Especially with ranked choice voting. That could really shake things up. I'm going to put Arizona there because I believe they actually have someone popular who's running, but I could downgrade that to leans with no real issues. I'm going to put South Dakota in that category. I think Kristi Noem should win that race. It depends on how good of a challenger the Democrats put up. I'm also putting Florida in that category. I think Ron DeSantis is a very strong candidate, and I don't really see him losing. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put Florida in likely Republican category. Ohio, I'm putting in that category as well. And I'll even put Iowa in that category. We'll see. I want to see a lot more polling before we get there, as well as I'm going to put Colorado, New Mexico in the likely Democratic category, as well as that's actually a tough one because the states that I would have put safe, well, we're going to talk about, and there's no real state that I would say is likely, at least not right now. I'll put Maryland in that category. I don't really see a strong Republican to succeed. To succeed Larry Hogan. So yeah, in leans, I'm going to put Arizona. I'm going to put Georgia there, even though I know a lot of people are going to think that's very controversial. It should be a toss up or at most tilts, but likely you need to put it in leans Democrat. I mean, listen, we need to see how the new election laws pan out. We need to see how much of a rebound in the suburbs Republicans are going to have. And we also need to see what the turnout is going to be. Truth is, we don't know. History says that it should be a strong year for Republicans nationwide. We'll see if that's the case, obviously. But at the same time, we shouldn't stray from history unless we have a damn good reason to do so when it comes to forecasting the future. History says Georgia should be a small Republican win, about 3 to 4%. And honestly, I don't really see a good reason just yet. When polling starts happening, then we'll talk. Other leans red states. For now, I'm going to put New Hampshire in that category. Leans Democrat, we're going to put Minnesota there, though I could reasonably argue likely for Minnesota. I'll put Nevada there as well. I'm also going to put Connecticut in that category. After all, I'm going to err on the side of the incumbent there, but Republicans tend to do very well in gubernatorial races in New England. I'm also going to put Rhode Island there, though Rhode Island could be a little bit more complicated. And I'm also going to put Pennsylvania in that category. Pennsylvania is one of the few states that still seems to think split ticketing is okay. And tends to flip-flop a lot. And you can see the Senate go Republican, the governor go Democratic. It really is that simple. As for states that I'm going to tilt towards the Republicans, I'm going to put Kansas in that category. Their current governor, Laura Kelly, the Democrat, she is... I don't think she's popular enough to win, but she is the incumbent, and I don't think it's unreasonable for somebody to predict her winning. Wisconsin, I'm skeptical Evers is going to be able to win the driftless area, as well as improve in the Milwaukee suburbs to the levels he needs to. And even though the Republicans are very weak in terms of their bench in Wisconsin, reality is that the state is starting to show signs of being like Ohio in a lot of ways. Michigan, Whitmer might be one of the least popular governors in the country. That said, she has a very strong fan base as well. So she could obviously still win that race. She is the incumbent. She's running for re-election. We'll just see whether the people who want her outnumber the people who want her in. As such, I'm actually going to tilt this in her favor. Again, I'm basing it off of incumbency, though it could really hurt her here. And Maine, I'm going to tilt it towards the incumbent, though the Republicans could put someone very good up there. Their base is slowly growing based off of what I understand of the state, so not just their base, but their bench as well. Anyway, we're going to talk about California and New York. California is going through a recall election, and there is a Democrat who actually has declared for the recall election. Regardless, in 2022, whoever wins, if somehow Newsom is kicked to the curb and somehow a Republican wins the recall election, that person is going to lose to a Democrat. So California, remember, I'm talking about the actual 22 election, not the recall election later this year. New York, it's all about Cuomo. If Cuomo isn't removed from office, it's going to be a slight drag on Democrats statewide. If Cuomo decides not to run for re-election, that will help. Again, I'm assuming he doesn't get removed. If he decides to run for re-election and loses the primary, well, again, the drag will be minimal. If he wins the primary, it's really going to hurt the Democrats, particularly him, because Cuomo is turning out to be a pretty shit person. I think it's fair to say that. And I would downgrade this race immediately. But chances are Cuomo won't make it to the general election. So I'm going to put it as safe for the Democrats at this moment. If Cuomo wins the primary, this is getting downgraded and downgraded hard. I still think he would win, but it would be much closer than it needed to be. So, based off of this, I believe the Republicans would flip 2 governor's seats. That said, the Democrats definitely have opportunities on the board. Georgia, Arizona, Alaska in some scenarios, New Hampshire, I could even argue Iowa and South Dakota. And of course, they could obviously hold on to Wisconsin and Kansas. After all, those are tilts, not, anything steeper of a penalty than that. So, want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see y'all next time. Take it easy. Have a very, very lovely day and a very nice weekend. Bye-bye.